Blessings and welcome into Tommy Bites TV. Thank y'all for being here today. Look, we're just gonna jump right into it. We know that what they're giving us in the store is not really what they say it is. So check these clips out, and if you want to know how to make you some bread or biscuits or even hot dogs, let me know in the comments, and I can do a video showing you how to make your own hot dog buns. And we need to know these things. We need to get these skills now. So
just so we're clear, this isn't bread, right? Like that's not bread. Bread shouldn't be able, when you ball up bread, it shouldn't be able to just unwilt.
So we were in Walmart. When I tell you my vision, oh my gosh, what a relief I can see. This is an experiment. I saw some videos. I'm going to share those videos with you guys.
Crazy over how American bread unfolds itself after being squashed. In other countries, when they squash their bread, it stays folded and doesn't spring back. That's because American bread contains a lot of questionable additives and conditioners, some of which are even used to make yoga mats.
Cooking bread in water. People started testing bread by putting it underwater. If bread is made properly, without extra additives, then when it comes into contact with water, it should soften and fall apart. In most cases, this test worked exactly as expected. Then the same test was done in the United States, and the bread behaved very strangely. It acted like a sponge. First, the bread absorbed water, then it was squeezed, and then it started to foam, almost.
Nature's on right here.
November 25th, 2025.
2 months old.
This bread is over 2 months old. Look, it ain't no mold on the bread.
Garbage.
Nowhere. So now look, my wife, she makes homemade bread. This is a piece of bread that was left. She made this like a week before we went out of town. We was out of town for a week. So this bread is less than 3 weeks old. Look at how much mold is on this bread, man. Look, I wanted to show you what I'm talking about. I'm about to put this in the compost. Because this is what nature does over time. It breaks down. But look, this is the bread she made. Look at that.
Wow.
Back in the days, remember, it was like that? But peep this, though. This is why I did this video. So I talk about enriched flour all the time, how it's a chemical process they do that to make it to where wheat don't spoil and it lead to weight gain. And Nature's Own used to use the enriched flour. But check this out. Notice right here in the ingredients now it says wheat flour, whole wheat flour. Notice it doesn't say enriched flour anywhere. But notice right here it says cultured wheat flour.
They know when everybody looking for enriched, they change the terminologies, bro. These people are hilarious.
This is the fresh bread here. Some people say get the fresh bread because, you know, they made it, they're not going to have anything crazy in it. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff in here that is not needed. By now you have seen the video, the clips of the people testing the bread out. I don't recommend you going into the store and pushing the bread, but reminds me of a sponge. None of those breads pass the test, just so you know. But y'all, please hit the hype button, the like button, share this video out, and leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here on Tommy Bites TV. So let me know if you're going to run the test on your own. Squeeze whatever bread you have at your house, or take that bread, put it under some water, and see if that bread turns into a sponge for you. Let me know in the comments if it happened, if it worked or not. Okay guys, let's make some bread because I need some sandwich bread here and I refuse to buy any. So first we're going to take 2 cups of warm water, 1.5 tablespoons of instant yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, Edmonds, 2/3 cup of sugar. Sugar feeds the yeast. You can sub this out for honey. 1/4 cup of oil. I'm using a olive oil. Okay, this recipe calls for 6 cups of flour. I'm going to start off with 5, but we're going to do 3. This is cup number 4, and this is cup number 5. You're kind of kneading in the process. This is actually the 6th cup. You won't use the whole cup, just enough to put some on your surface because you're going to place your dough there in order to knead it. place a little bit on your hands so it's not as sticky. You want the dough to be tacky at first, and you're going to use this, but don't use too much of the 6 cup because you don't want your dough to not have that bounce back you're looking for. I knead for around 5 to 8 minutes, or you can just knead until you poke your finger in, and if it bounces back up, then you know you're ready. In a bowl, place a little bit of oil, not a lot, and put your dough in there. You're gonna cover it with a towel or whatever you have. That is going to allow your dough to rise up, and you want to do that for about an hour. An hour later, your dough has risen. You're just gonna not handle it too much. Punch it down or just take it out and separate it into halves to go into a greased pan. You can tear it apart with your hands to separate it, but I'm going to use a cutter. Shape it into a loaf and place it into your pan. I'm also doing biscuits with mine, so my other loaf, I'm going to turn that into biscuits instead. If you're making biscuits, you don't have to cut them as big as I'm cutting mine. Some of mine, I made them into like little small loaf twists, and then others were biscuits, but I like big biscuits, so you know, I cannot lie. Place in a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes. And just like that, you have just made your loaf of bread and your biscuits. I place butter on mine. You can choose to do honey on yours. Wait for it to cool off and then start slicing it.